I brought this in because lads out we usually drink, so I thought I'd brought this. The camera. This is Luhansk People's Republic vodka, which I was selling for $200. So it's a very expensive bottle.
It's got tits on it. It's worth it.
It is indeed. It's also actually the best vodka I've ever tasted. Not trying to big it up, but sincerely, very strange. The reason it costs
Please let me back in, Russia, please.
The reason it costs so much is because if you want one, you have to go to Lugansk, which you're not going to. So that's that. So I'd also thought with Leo here, if it'd be okay to try it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. So this is the glass here.
It pours great.
Yeah, look at that.
Thank you.
Entertain yourselves. Go on for Carl.
I'm going to be all right to ride my bike home after this.
Fine. They get pulled over.
I'm not much of a drinker.
But it also comes with this cap here, which has the Lugansk People's Republic signature on. It also serves as a glass. Because of course it does. It's Russia.
All caps.
Okay. Let's start over, товарищ.
Not those ones.
Is it nice?
It's not bad, actually.
Why didn't you have
I don't like vodka.
I don't have a glass. I've got a beer and water.
Yeah, just tip
There we are.
water. There's nothing electrical around. You'll be fine.
But that's also, I mean, Chernobyl was also in Ukraine, and Lugansk's technically in Ukraine, depending on who you ask. That's another reference. But if you want more,
I did some filming in Minsk in Belarus. I know it's not Russia, but it's the Russian Federation. It's kind of Russia, really.
It's BDSM puppet. Yeah.
Yeah. But I couldn't believe it was so cheap. I got an Uber there. It was less than £1. And like all the booze and stuff, because we were filming, so we had like a per diem to spend, and we couldn't spend it. We're trying to spend it in the restaurants. Like my mate was buying like cigars and stuff, getting them put in the bill, and we still couldn't
You
spend.
get cigars at restaurants.
Yeah, you can smoke inside.
Sorry, where is this wonderful fantasy?
And
This
also,
This is utopia.
also all the women are just like stunningly beautiful, and they're with like just these shrubby guys in tracksuits kind of thing. Because apparently the culture is that women go to university and get the good jobs, and then the men just stay unemployed and become alcoholics.
This sounds like a utopia.
Yeah.
It's my dream life.
I mean, that's
I'm not going to advertise it that way to my wife.
That's Josh's 5-year plan.
Yeah, well, I want to be a useless, waster to a successful woman.
Josh. Except for the successful woman, you're already there.
But anyway, if you'd love to live in a post-apocalypse in real life, yes, Belarus or some other parts of Eastern Europe are wonderful. But let's get into the Fallout series, shall we? So apart from other nuclear holocausts, so let's start at the beginning. Fallout 1, a nuclear role-playing game.
Man, what is this? This looks like BBC Micro.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's amazing.
Is it?
No,
Is it like
It's not BBC Micro, but like,
Atari ST or something?
no.
PC,
This is
Yeah,
like
it's
when
all
you see the
PC.
very first Grand Theft Auto, and it's like top-down little Matchbox cars. It's like
What is this, like
PlayStation 1.
96 or something?
something like that.
I
yeah.
do get kind of RuneScape vibes from
Yeah, it's in the 90s. It's a very old game.
Right.
It was really, really
I
good.
miss RuneScape.
Really good.
So I think you're the only one old enough to remember the apocalypse and
Yep.
Fallout 1.
Well, Leah's on. I don't think he played it.
I'm
I
27.
I like autistic turn-based tactics games.
So that's the first game, which is set 84 years after the bombs fell.
Right.
And as you can see, society is somewhat rebuilding. The story of this being that you're a vault dweller in one of the normal vaults, I think. And then the water chip fails.
Yep.
So the overseer sends you out to the waste to go and find a replacement water chip.
Yeah.
And what you discover is that, lots of people are still living like raiders, but there are people actually now settling down and building little societies, etc. The effects of the war, of course.
That's a farm,
Yeah.
which they forgot to put in Fallout 3 anywhere.
Yes. We'll get to shitting on Fallout 3 and 4 in a minute, because they're shit. But Fallout 1, I think they did a fantastic job, except from the fact that it looks like ass, but that's...
It doesn't. The point
That's
of
the 90s.
aesthetic is it's post-apocalyptic, and this was good for the time.
And to be fair, I quite like the close-up shots that you get of people's faces.
Yeah, yeah.
When they made out of like little clay models that they animated,
Yeah,
or CG
some-
at the time.
Something like that, but they do look quite good. But the important thing was the writing. The writing was quite edgy. Like,
Right.
it didn't pull any punches, and so when you were having conversations with people, like the world was very gritty. Like the modern Fallout takes it as a joke, and it's like no, the original thing didn't take it as a joke. It's a very sort of Gen X game, you know.
Right,
It's
yeah.
very sort of edgy, and there were jokes in it, but they were, there's a bit of an edge or hardness to them or whatever. I don't know how to.
Well, the one reason I do want to go back and play this at some point is for one of the jokey parts of it, which is that being an old school role playing game, each of the stat points that you put in does matter.
Yeah.
And if you have an intelligence of 1,
Mm.
I think all of your dialogue options change.
Yeah.
Can be
Into-
stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
into the retarded dialogue options because you are playing a retard,
Yeah.
so you can only say the things that a retard would say in any situation.
You can finally role play as yourself, Harry.
I know,
Hey!
clearly,
I've
yeah.
been waiting for the opportunity to
I
punch
was.
back.
Are you two just here to throw insults at each other?
No worries.
It's how we show our affection.
It's all
as
done
well.
in the spirit of love.
Okay. But you're perfectly hitting right on the money, the pair of you, because I'm joking when I say that it looks like shit. That's just because it wasn't my time. So obviously games before then look really awful to you, and that's true for every generation. But the writing, from what I played a little bit of it, and from what I watched people play it and talk about it, that's the thing that made Fallout a success.
Yeah.
It was incredibly well written and took itself in a way that's pretty.
But the important thing as well is the aesthetic is consistent, right? It feels like a post-apocalypse that people have had to live in for generations.
I mean, these people farming here.
This isn't a great screenshot, to be honest. You could have got one of the cities. or something, but-
Yeah, but there are little cities. I mean, this is just like, somewhere that's slightly getting there. It's
Sure,
not quite.
sure, yeah.
But yeah, they're rebuilding society, and it's taking place.
The
But
the annoying thing about Fallout 1 though is the whole game is on a time limit. And so if because you've got a world map to wander around and you've got this massive open world, and it's just like good luck. This is a great thing about the 90s games is there was no hand holding, right? So it wasn't like there's a guy with a little exclamation point above his head. You need to talk to this guy for a quest or anything like that. No. This is just a giant world.
Mm.
It's dangerous. Best of luck.
And you couldn't Google it. You
Yeah,
couldn't,
exactly. You
sit
couldn't
on
look
your
it up.
phone.
Yeah.
Because I spent most of my time playing Destiny 2 because I thought I'd play computer games. But I spent most of my time how do you kill the Wizard of Faragon or whatever you're doing? You know what I mean?
And so you would want to wander around this giant wasteland and explore all these things. And then 3 months in or whatever, it'd be like, you failed. The game is over. It's like, oh, for Christ's sake. I was just enjoying that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nope.
Oh,
It's made you that angry. Yeah.
you really can't hold your drink, can you?
I'm quite angry about it.
If you want more vodka, it is there.
No, I'm fine.
I was going to bring it up, but I can't find it right now. But your joke about the grittiness is totally true. There's skills. So if you get certain skills, there'll be a little drawing of
Oh,
a
yeah.
guy with a laser weapon if it's a laser-based skill or something, right? And there are actually a few that even themselves, as a small studio, decided to cut because they were too edgy.
Mm.
One of them, for example, is doing damage, I think, to like infants or something, and the image is of the Vault Boy cartoon kicking a pregnant woman in the belly. It's just like, oh, okie dokie.
Same thing with Fallout 3, but don't worry, you can mod it in.
Yeah. See,
What baby murder?
the great thing
No,
about the
no,
90s,
child murder.
right, is that millennials didn't exist.
Mm.
They had yet to come of age. And so they had no influence on the culture. And so we could do fun things.
Mm.
That was always the thing.
It's not our fault.
No, but it is a culture shift. Like going back to the 90s, you're absolutely right. There's far more engagement with men like women, for example. That's another one of the things that ended up getting banned, or
Mhm.
at least is not existing anymore.
Yeah.
You can have skills that make you more attractive, like you have special flirting lines for men
yeah.
or women.
Right.
But there was one skill in the original, which was, I think, Sex Pistol or something.
Lady killer.
Lady Killer, with 3 women noshing you off. That's the drawing. I just can't imagine Bethesda doing that.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you can become an active slaver in the game. You can go around and capture slaves, and you join the Slavers Guild. I think it's in 2, actually. But you join the Slavers Guild, and you can just take slaves to make money. Or to have them wandering around carrying your baggage and stuff like that.
Certificate on your wall of
Yeah.
just membership of the Slavers
Well, you
Guild.
have it on your forehead.
Oh, great.
So everyone can see. And it changes your relationship with different factions accordingly.
Yeah, I bet it would.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
There's got a big swastika on your
Yeah,
forehead. It's just
basically,
like,
yeah.
oh,
And a bunch of slaves in tow.
Yeah.
But the point is, the game is a lot more interesting than games now are allowed to be.
I think you're true about that. So there's also Fallout 2, of course, which is the next one, which very much the same visuals.
Well, no, the good thing about Fallout 2 is that you're part of a tribe because it's after Fallout 1, obviously. But you're not from the Vault. So you're some stupid tribesman. And like one of the people in the tribe that you come from, literally got a bone through his nose. And one of the guys you get called Sulik, he's got literally a bone through his nose and he talks to Grampy Bone, the spirit of the ancestors and stuff like that.
So Portland survives the apocalypse. then.
Yes.
In fact, just to correct you on the lore, like the guy who you play as who gets rejected, so you bring the war chip back, and the overseer says, well, you've seen too much. You're a hero, but you've got to go because you're going to pollute the vault with what you've seen. So he kicks you out. And then you go and found this city.
Yeah, which is why you have to go through a little quest to get the Vault suit.
Exactly. And your ancestor, the chosen one, then, has to save the town because, well, everything's dying out.
And
The point is, they're actual tribals at this point. Like, it's the post-apocalypse. What does human life look like? Well, you're a bunch of weird tribesmen who believe in crazy stuff. You have spears.
And it's Fallout 2. Is it the same sort of isometric, a little guy walking around? It's not, you're not running about shooting stuff like in Halo.
You
Yeah.
wouldn't quite be happy with the visuals yet.
Right.
Well, it looks just like Fallout 1 because it was released, I think, 97.
So what are the
Same
good
developers
ones?
as well.
Yeah.
What are the good Fallouts? For
These are
somebody
the
with
good Fallouts.
for somebody with a PlayStation 4, not a BBC Micro.
So this is
Someone with a very short attention span.
Yeah.
this is
Which one?
a great dichotomy between you two, actually, because it's very true that there's the person who will play the isometric 90s game
I like them.
for the writing. That's
I
fine.
don't just play it for the ride. I like the gameplay too.
But there's a difference in mindset versus obviously what's more modern, which is your mindset, which is I don't care, I don't have time for this. I want to play. and have
But
fun.
it seemed to peak about, like, I don't know, 15 years ago or something. Like, Halo was the classic sort of game you can just play and then put down and you can pause it when you want. Now, like Destiny 2, man, I don't know, like, you can't pause it because it's all
always
online.
isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
always online, so you can't pause it. It's always, you turn on your PlayStation, it's got to spend 45 minutes updating. And it's like, I just want to play it. It was fine last time. Why are you updating it? Like, why can't I just play the one I had last time? And also, most of the game, you got to go through all these menus, you got to find out what you're actually supposed to be doing, which is impossible. You got to spend half an hour on the internet to work out what you're doing. How do I get into this quest? Where is it? All the rest of it. And then, so you're spending all this time in menus, and then you got to, like, create weapons and manage all this, like, all your armor and all. And it's like, I just want to run around and shoot people in the face. That's the fun bit.
That's
I
the
don't want to do the admin.
See, the good thing about Fallout 2, Fallout 1, is the style of combat is isometric, turn-based, action point-based.
Good thing.
Yeah. No. Because, Callum, the good thing, it's about min-maxing, right? It is. I'm not even joking.
Speaking my language.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
I think as well, it's not just min-maxing, it's about making every decision that you make in the game
Yes.
count, which isn't the case in modern FPS shooters, for instance, where you get
Yeah.
an abundance of resources every single moment and you don't ever have to worry about running out of anything. It's
Yeah.
about resource
Exactly.
management.
It is about resource management, getting the most out of the minimum that you have. And so, like, the character creation is like, you've got different kind of builds that do different kinds of things. And I always used to go for, like, the high action point gunslinger ones. So, you take all the perks that reduce the number of action points it costs to fire the guns, you maximize your number of action points, and then you can literally just gun down half a dozen guys in one turn. Like, that's the perfect autism of the Fallout. That's why I like it.
Fair enough. I will say as well, Fallout 2 is based 164 years after the bombs have fallen. And yes, your society is very, very tribal, but outside of that, you can actually run into factions which are far more built up. And
Yep.
it's
Vault City.
it's a proper progression over the last one where it's like, yeah, another 80 odd years has passed. Things didn't just stagnate. Humanity still moved forward like it always does. Life goes on.
And then we get to Bethesda.
That brings us on to Fallout 3, in which the world still looks like this in Washington, D.C., because they decided to set their game on the other side of the United States.
Was it set in 2020
Yeah, so
after the riots?
It's set 200 years after, I think. And Bethesda said, 210 years after. What's really the difference?
Yeah, this does look like it's a decade after the bombs fell, doesn't it?
So the last two games were set in the California area, whereas this one, when Bethesda got hold of the rights for Fallout in, I think, 2008, 2010, I forget, they
They
released
in 2008, so it
There
would
we
have
go.
been like 2005 or something.
when they released it in 2008, they decided to set the game in Washington, D.C., on the other side of the country. And their version of events is that the world looks like this, which annoys me on a number of levels, because they decided to set their game 200 years after the bombs fell, and yet the whole world looks like it fell 10 years ago, like you say.
And
Yeah.
everybody still acts like
I mean-
it. Nobody's come up with any currency other than bottle caps.
To be fair, in Fallout 1 and 2, I mean, you still have lots of, like, rusted out cars around and stuff like that.
You do, but there is nowhere in Fallout 3 that is civilized. The
Tenpenny Town.
the closest you get is to the very racist society of Tenpenny Tower,
Mhm.
which
What
keep.
did Todd mean by this?
I'll tell you, Leo, about this because this is really funny.
Look, you need to be diverse. And refugees welcome, I think we can all agree, okay?
So you run across this massive tower in the middle of nowhere with
Yeah.
nowhere of it getting food or water, whole other problem. So it's a gated community, and there's this ghoul bashing on the outside trying to get in, and all the
You probably
normal
need to
humans-
explain
Yeah,
what
you've
a
got some
ghoul is.
ghouls on.
Damn. So all these normal humans are living in there, and they're keeping the ghouls out. Now, ghouls are people who have been exposed to so much radiation that their skin is flaring off. They look disgusting. Their nose falls off. but they gain a sort of immortality.
Right.
So many of them are from before the bombs fell. They're 200 odd years old.
Oh, right.
So they want to come in, and obviously the normal humans are like, ugh, no.
Do you
But
catch-
also they can be mental.
Yeah.
They're 200 years old.
And do you catch anything off them, like radiation sickness or anything?
Some of them, they're like the feral ghouls, the glowing one ghouls. Yeah.
When
So
they
if they
strike you, they make you.
If they get too much radiation, they go feral and mental.
Right, yeah.
So Bethesda keeps rewriting the law on that, but whatever.
Mm.
So take that as written. So you go there and you can decide, are you going to keep the ghouls out, kill them all, be a genocidal freak and kill all the ghouls because they're subhumans? Or do you negotiate with the people of Tenpenny Tower to accept ghouls? Because aren't we all humans?
Mm.
Do you know what happens if you do that?
You have a wonderful society that's diverse.
That's correct.
Close.
For 5 minutes.
They literally kill everyone
Right.
as soon as they get in after about 5 minutes of living with them.
You walk off and then you come back and everyone's been killed.
Right.
And you ask them why, and they kind of shout at you and then kill you. If you're
Yeah.
just like, what the hell, man?
But if you kill all of them before that happens,
You're a racist.
yeah, you lose morale or whatever it is.
Karma.
Yeah, you lose karma because that's the bad option.
Yeah, yeah.
But
See, you know what I did in that? I went up there and I was like, this Tenpenny guy knows how to blow up Megaton. Let's blow up Megaton. Oh, I'm going to let all the ghouls in. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to kill the ghouls, kill him. I just killed everyone in there. And Megaton as well.
You're min-maxing
Yeah, I
experience.
am. Yeah.
So you're just a psychopath.
Yeah, I just wanted to do everything. I wanted all of the results.
Do
all at
everything
once.
as long as everything was murder everyone.
Well, yeah, I could kill everything. So,
I'm slightly more scared of you now.
well, it's just in the wasteland.
You should be.
Just wait until the bombs drop.
And is this one fun to play?
So this one you'll find more fun. It's
Right.
first-person shooter. It's a bit janky because
It's very janky.
it's Bethesda game, so they
Well, also the way that the gun stats work in it is that if you have low gun skill
Can I have some-
and you fire, the bullet will instead of firing in the direction that you shoot, it will just veer off to the side, and you're missing most of your shots.
Right.
You have to put a lot of skill points into your firearms
Thank you very much.
as well, so you'll probably find that part annoying.
Yeah, yeah.
But overall, Fallout 3 had a really good aesthetic.
Right, yeah.
This is the first one I played.
Except for the
I
I
horrible
played it a
green
lot
filter.
as well.
Well, no, I quite liked it.
I thought it was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I'm getting a gun in real life. A Manton rifle. It's a
not a
tiger.
punt gun.
No,
Tiger
punk.
rifle. No, but it's man, this is
Very
big.
legal.
It's like 50 cal
Yeah.
basically. So, but for shooting, it's for like being on the back of an elephant and shooting tigers.
Are we allowed those things?
So yes, and it's an antique. So
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay. So I can get antique guns.
Yeah,
Get a
Carl-
blunderbuss.
Leo's going to go around shooting all the big cats you're fond of.
Good.
yeah.
Apparently, there
I
are
think
big cats in Britain. They need to be shot.
it's legal to have, but if you started shooting tigers with it, you'd probably get in trouble.
the hell have I done? Right, there we are. So getting back to the game, I want to mention this is probably a good point in which it's going to be a lot of debate because a lot of people love Fallout 3.
Yeah. I enjoy
I kind of like it. It's
It's just fun.
but I'm not gonna pretend it's not a little stinky because it's just a little stinky, quite a bit stinky to be honest. In the fact that a lot of it doesn't make any bloody sense. I mean, Megaton you mentioned for example. This is a town in which a bunch of people came across one of the bombs that crashed into the ground but didn't explode and went, I'll build my house here, and now have stage 4 cancer. And they're just like, I don't understand why this is stupid.
But the
Even your
reason,
house
the
is
reason
Megaton.
that they do that though is that they've got that weird cult that worships
That's
radiation.
only a minority of the town, though.
But
That's
I
only
imagine
like
they
3
started
guys.
it. You know, they were the
Yeah, but that's something
weirdos.
you have to move to it. If there's a weird cult that's popped up that worship this bomb
Yeah, but
that's
it's got
not
a prosperous
exploded
town.
yet. No, they don't have a prosperous town before everybody else shows up. Also, another thing, it's basically in a crater, which is one of the least defensible positions you could imagine.
Also prosperous. I mean, they're still drinking dirty water. They don't have access
Yeah.
to clean
Well,
water.
look at what they're living in.
Yeah, I almost like it doesn't make any sense.
No,
Not
I'm not
sure
saying
it is.
Also, it's such a bad town that the tenpenny guy, he just wants it blown up for no reason.
It's because it's an eyesore.
Yeah, but
It
but when you actually get to the balcony that he sits on, you can't even
Yeah.
see it in the distance.
But you can see the explosion.
Yes, that's what makes it worth it.
Speaking of the power of those settlements, in Megaton, there's a Moriarty who runs a pub, and obviously he's an Irishman with an Irish accent. Okay, and Tenpenny, he's
Came from England.
he's an Englishman with a thick English accent, who then blows up the Irishman, which reparations.
It's 200 years later in America.
We're still not going to let it go though. are we?
No, I'm thinking more the accents.
The accent is more the problem. How do they still have those? And a lot of people.
It's not like they're ghouls.
It's said that they came over the Atlantic Ocean, which
Wait, there's international travel?
Yeah, this is the stinky part. So, okay, either they can travel that far, in which case, if we've got to the point we've got international transatlantic travel, why is Washington, D.C. still looking like this? They don't even have a single farm. And if they didn't come from over the ocean, how do they have these accents? And this is a much wider problem of just things that don't make sense. Bottle caps, for example. Now, bottle caps are the currency in the Fallout universe.
No, in Fallout 1.
And then that's where it started and has continued. And
in Fallout 2, the currency was dollars.
It got that way, but it has continued in Fallout 3 and 4 that it is bottle caps. And the reason it was bottle caps, Carl, in the first game, do you remember why?
It was tied to some water supply.
It was tied to the price of clear water in one settlement. So it's pegged to water, so you could exchange this for an amount of water.
The water standard, one might say.
Exactly. A bit janky, but okay, there's a
Clean
reason.
water matters, you know.
And then in Fallout 2, the NCR came along and had their own dollars because...
Dirty fiat currency, yeah.
What is this? In fact, no.
No? Is it backed by gold?
The NCR originally, their currency was backed by gold.
Okay.
So the NCR...
Much better, okay.
And there's a great part in it where you do some quests, you get out of a mine or a well or something, and you find a stash of 10,000 bottle caps, and if obviously I'd played the first one, man, that is a fortune, but you can't spend them because they're bottle caps, they're not currency anymore. You know?
It's crap.
Yeah.
But the currency was backed by gold in the new Californian Republic. They printed their own currency, had gold reserves, and then they fought a war with a group called the Brotherhood of Steel. And apparently what happened is they ended up getting raided so much that they had to abandon the gold standard because they didn't have enough gold, and they now use a fiat currency later on. To watch the full video, please become a premium member at lotuseaters.com.